All right. Hey guys, Krista Gorman here. This is the Loverly TV channel. I have with me a very special guest, my friend Brittany Carovillano. I said that right? Your last name?
Yeah, Carovillano, you nailed it.
Yeah, yes. Okay, so Brittany and I have known each other for how many years now? Four?
I think it's our 5-year anniversary,
Well, love.
right?
Um,
Cute.
what is this? What is the gift for 5 years?
I
Paper?
don't
I
know.
think it's paper.
Carrying your camera bag? Like,
I mean, we'll get to
right.
that. But yeah, so Brittany and I met at a wedding. She had hired me for one of her clients 5 years ago, and we hit it off right away. Became fast friends, started collaborating on different projects together, and we've had the opportunity to work together a few times. So Brittany and I are really good friends. She actually helped me out a lot this last year. She came out and did some assistant work with me, because COVID obviously took a ding to her business. So it was nice that we were able to join forces and rock out some really cool shoots this past year in 2020. So Brittany, welcome to the show. I'm so happy to have you. I know I have a lot of clients who are interested in day of coordinator and wedding planning. And hiring a wedding planner like yourself. So why don't you introduce yourself a little bit more and tell us about Rosewater Weddings and what you have to offer.
Well, thank you so much for having me. As Krista previously stated, my name is Brittany Carovillano, and I am the owner and operator and lover of all things Rosewater Wedding. I've been in the business for about 6 years, and in the wedding industry, I should say, for about 6 years, and doing events for just over 10. My business is based in Niagara, but I travel all over the place. I never limit myself because weddings are awesome and they're even more fun when you get to discover new places and new things. So I like to go wherever my clients need me. The main thing with my business is with Rosewater Weddings, I just want to bring people peace and let them enjoy getting married. I want them to have the spectacle or the quaint little wedding that they've always dreamed of, whatever that looks like in their mind, and just allow them to be the bride and the groom, and let me take care of all the background stuff that make weddings look easy. Yeah, that's about it.
That's awesome. Yeah, like what would you say you love most about, like, do you like day of coordination more? Do you like wedding planning more? Is it kind of equal?
I'm gonna say it's equal because I absolutely love, I love planning. So I love that portion. I love like how seeing everything come together, and then on the big day, watching like all your hard work, like how that looks and all the moving parts. But when it comes to day of coordination, it's almost like getting like a surprise box, because those are always the brides that are like, I can handle this, I got it. And honestly, they do. They're probably the most organized. And then they realize a couple months out that, like, okay, now I just kind of want to be the bride. So now they hand all of that stuff over to me, and now I'm acquainting myself with all of this person's hard work and all of their dreams, and like it's almost like a crash course in what their love looks like and what they want it to look like on their wedding day. And now it's my challenge to make that happen. Like, we've been working together since day one, and I've known them since birth. So I love it all.
That's amazing. And being able to do that and pull someone else's vision together. I mean, like, it's one thing when like you have your own vision and your own ideas, but to have to take someone else's vision and really make that a reality for them, like, that's a talent, that's a skill. So I admire you for that.
Oh, you.
And I can attest to your ability to be extremely organized and well coordinated. Many times, I wish I had a picture to throw up because you never let me take the pictures of you being my
There's a
boss.
reason for that, okay? I don't look this nice when I am doing a wedding. Usually it's like the hair's up here and I haven't thought of anything, but I can't. I'm
Yeah.
working.
I'll turn around sometimes and Brittany's got like bags and things in her hands and she's balancing like the clipboard and holding coats for the bridal party.
Listen, we're on a timeline.
Hanging off her shirt, and she's also filming behind the scenes. It's like her legs got like, she's just a juggling act. I love it, like commitment.
The only reason I go to the gym just so I can hold more stuff at a wedding. So
Absolutely. So why don't we talk about, let's just jump into 2020 and COVID and all that crap. because it is off topic. And the whole purpose of why I do these interviews is to help educate couples who are getting married in 2021, especially because the pandemic is still a thing. And, we're forecasting that it's still going to cause some sort of effect on weddings this year. To what extent, we're not entirely sure of. I have some idea and some thoughts on that. I think it's going to be fine once the spring, summer hits. Yeah, so let's talk about 2020 and what it did to your clients, or how it affected your clients and your business, and what you think 2021 is going to be like.
So this is the portion of the interview where I start crying or yeah. Thank you. Okay, I've gone through a few. That's how 2020 went. 2020 for me, I was like, you know me personally. And sometimes like you might have the best day ever and at the end of it, you're just exhausted. You got no more optimistic left in you. And that's kind of how I felt at the beginning. I felt very like, oh gosh, as a wedding coordinator, I give solutions, I solve problems. I'm a fixer by nature. So not being able to give straight answers or timelines or any of those things was like a special form of torture. And I realized that the world was also going through it. So you have to be empathetic to everyone's feelings. 2020 forced me to go above and beyond. I would not love to say, I need to correct myself. I would say initially, right out of the gate, it was negative. It was awful. I hated it. But really for me personally, I rebranded my business. I chose a more healthy approach in my personal life, which allowed me to give my clients a more optimistic version of myself. And in turn, once you say something enough, you start to believe it. There is definitely power in a mantra or just regular behavior kind of thing, like a pattern. And for me, my pattern was optimism. So if someone came at me and was like, there's this many COVID cases and I don't know what's going to happen, I'd be like, but isn't it beautiful out? Isn't it good? But have you seen your wedding dress? Girl, you have to focus on those things. And so for me, as many weddings got canceled and I became better at being emotional support for my clients. I became better at being more resilient, at coming up with plan A, B, C, all the way to R, whatever needed to happen. And all of them were awesome. Okay. They may have been different, but they were all awesome. And that's just the attitude that I was forced to take on. So as much as I wanted to be a negative Nancy and just crawl under my bed and just wait until everything was over and we could have fun again, I'm grateful for the time to slow down and to focus on what was important for my clients, what we needed to do, what they needed from me. And as much as it was a learning experience, and I'm so grateful to every single one of them for kind of bearing with me while I figured out what to do as well, because this was new for everybody in our industry. And let's hope it wasn't a pattern. So I'm grateful to all of them for being patient with me. And I know that for this year, we're coming out stronger on the other side and the parties are just going to get better. So
100%. Absolutely. Actually, and I can attest to that because one of the things I love most about you is your sarcastic humor. You and I have such a great time when we hang out together and work together because of that. But also, it was kind of funny because I remember when you started jumping on and helping me and becoming on as my assistant this year. You'd get in the car and I'd be the one all negative, miserable, and you're all positive Patty over there. And I'm like, what is happening? We've switched roles because normally I'm sunshine, rainbows, and butterflies, and you're the grin. Yeah. And so it was just a really funny flip of the contrast. I really saw that happen for you. And what you inspired me so much too. And with your fitness journey as well, as you know, I've got my fitness journey, you've got yours, and we kind of both have been in tag team inspiring each other. So it's been pretty cool to see that too. Because I definitely agree, health and fitness is one of the things that's really helped me survive all the feels and all the mental health issues of 2020.
Red wine helps a little bit, but yeah, it does have its limitations. So
it's healthy. It's got grapes in it.
Right? It's fruit. That is fruit, right? That's what I've been counting.
Yeah. I'm on Weight Watchers. Fruit's 0 points. So I mean,
Strong fruit. That's all.
strong. Yeah.
A
Ferment.
liquid strong fruit.
So 2021, do you have, some weddings on the books for 2021? Are your couple, like, what's the vibe you're getting from your couples right now? Like, I've had, a few weddings have moved to 2022 already. They've contacted me in January. So I guess I did have one, actually I had a couple who were actually going to full on cancel their July wedding and sent me an email and said, we're thinking about moving our wedding to March and just eloping. And I was like, but why? Like, I don't even think we can do it in March. So then we just had a phone call and like we talked it through. And now she's like, no, we're going to keep the date, but we're just going to do things a little different. And it's going to be so much better that way. You know what I mean? Like, I think July, as we saw, like June, July, August weddings, September, October, November, we were shooting all those months. And it was like, COVID wasn't really affecting those weddings. Like,
They were fun.
they had to drop down a little bit in numbers, but they were still fun. They were still amazing. I don't know if you saw the interview with the couples that we had
I did.
last year, but like every single one of them have said like they don't regret anything. Like it was, absolutely amazing. And so that's why I do this. This is why I like having this interview session with, vendors and couples, because I think like I want couples out there who are watching this to get as much knowledge and education as possible so that they can make the most informed decision, right? Because for some people, they are going to have to move to 2022 because they don't want to compromise. They want the big party and it's just safer to do it, right? But
True.
those couples who just want to get married and are okay with like being a little flexible and a little fluid with their plans, I highly recommend they're getting married this year. So what's going on with your couples? What are they saying?
I've got like a 50-50 split. I have like the couples who are obviously they're stuck on, not shouldn't say stuck on, they're committed to. They're committed to their original plan. They envision their wedding a certain way. They are willing to make concessions. And honestly, like that's completely up to them. So I do have some, mostly they are like spring, early summer that have postponed to 2022. But then I have other clients who they just want to get married. They know that it's going to look a little different than what it would otherwise. And honestly, you helped me a lot with some of the convincing on that front because I was able to share some of the behind the scenes and things from assisting you with some of the COVID weddings that in the like late fall, early winter of last year. So being able to like share those pictures and show that these people are still having a great time. Yeah, it looks a little different, but like there's no less love in the room here and is not any less beautiful, any of those things. Like, so being able to show like this is also what your wedding could look like was fabulous. And so I do have the other half of the coin that is just they're getting married and like it is what it is and we're gonna deal with it as it comes and we're grateful to be on the same team basically and we're gonna make it work.
Yeah. I heard a quote recently or like a saying or a mantra or whatever, but like look at the situation of not that why is this happening to me, but why is this happening for me, right?
Right.
And I loved that. And I love looking at COVID in that way because I think it can apply to everybody, right? Like for me, I was able to pivot my business in ways that I didn't think I was ready for. Or maybe I was just afraid to. And
right.
It's forced me to and push me to make those pivots now and just do it. Right. And it's been great. Like I'm getting awesome reception from, the different things that I'm doing with Loverly Weddings and now lifestyle. Oh, I almost spilled my pot. Loverly Weddings and now lifestyle. And now I'm going to get into coaching and helping other entrepreneurs, increase their business. So
look at you.
I know, right?
Oh my goodness. Look at all this growth. I love it.
Because like you, I rebranded like right when COVID hit. Like I had just rebranded 10 days before or 15 days before. And it was just like to do just Loverly Weddings. Like I was just like, that was going to be the brand. It was going to be all weddings all the time. Right. Yeah, right. Now we're Loverly Weddings and Lifestyle. And it's, but again, it's forcing me to be creative. So it's like, how is this happening for me? Right. With weddings, it's like, now it's forcing couples to kind of come up with creative solutions or alternative ideas of what their wedding would look like, as opposed to just going with tradition or what everybody else has told them they should do. Now they kind of get an opportunity to say, you know what, we don't want an actual guest list of 200 people. So this is great. Like, we can pare this down to the most important people in our lives, right? Because we can say, oh, COVID, and like
giving everyone some grand out that you ultimately have to respect. And it's like for the very first time, you can do what you want and no one can say anything.
exactly, right? Yeah, like
Power.
yeah, right. And yeah, there's going to be some, things that are not going to happen for you that you maybe really wanted, but at the same time too, again, like I said, it makes you be creative in different ways. Like, I loved Shane Blair's
Yeah.
entertainment. Like, doing, like, I love, as opposed to like the dance parties. Dance parties are cool and dance parties are fun, but having that like trivia, music trivia, and like couples trivia, name that tune, like, that was so much fun.
It was fun.
I felt like I was at the pub with like my friends,
It was.
And
I
then,
had so much fun. Why did we leave?
oh. So, what are some things that you're recommending to couples to prepare for a pandemic wedding? When you're talking to your couples and you're kind of, getting them prepped and ready to, like, if they're like, no, we're going to go ahead with our wedding this year, like, is there any certain things that you're kind of telling them, maybe you want to consider this, or?
So I'm not like one of my biggest things is because I feel like right now our world is limitations and rules and what you can't do and no, 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 no. Like literally that's all you're faced with. So I always come right out of the gate. I'm like, we're managing our expectations. We know what the world is like. We've experienced it for a year. There is no like surprises at this point. So based on that, it's like, what is most important to you that is also plausible? Like, let's go with let's call it our worst case scenario, or like our simplest options. So I'm basically saying, like, we're prioritizing what's important to us. Like, is it most important that your dad walks you down the aisle? Is it most important that you have a raging dance party? Is it most important that your food is talked about for the next 10 years? Like, we need to decide, out of all the things that a wedding has to offer, what's your top three? Like, what are the three things that, even at the end of the day, if everything else went wrong, if those three things were perfect, you're happy, your wedding was fabulous. And it might, for some people, the list is longer than three things. We're planning for 2022. Okay. If the list is three things and we can figure it out, and especially the couples that are just like, listen, I want to get married, I want to eat great food, and like I want to have it with steak with my favorite beer or something like that the venue doesn't normally offer. It's like, you know what? I'm gonna be your fairy godmother, grant all three of those wishes, and you're gonna get married in 2021. So we're just managing our expectations. No one is saying no here. We all know what the world looks like. I don't need to remind you how many cases there are, what's going to happen next, when we could reopen. I don't care. I'm worried about getting my couples married and making sure that whatever their wedding looks like, no matter how many people, how many pairs of eyeballs are staring at them, they are happy. And because they're married. I feel like that's one thing that, like, I say all the time to people, you're getting married. This is huge. This is your journey with this other person, and the only person there that really matters is the one staring back at you. So who cares about everything else?
Yeah,
that's just me.
Absolutely, I love it. No, it's good. Okay, so why should people hire you?
I'm wonderful.
I know. Okay. It's, you know what, and I really do. I highly, 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 highly recommend that couples, especially if you don't have one included in your venue, or you're doing, backyard wedding or private property event, that you hire a day of coordinator at the very least. Because, and I have a couple of clients who are now doing that because of COVID. They're just doing their own little private property, and those are the ones who I'm really talking to them and saying, you really need a day of coordinator, because you don't want to be dealing with all that stuff.
No.
On that morning, I don't want you stressing out about if the cake showed up, or exactly, where the caterer's late or whatever. Like, leave that to your day of coordinator, put it in their hands, and trust in God, because they will.
My name is Brittany.
Yes.
God.
your fairy godmother, that she will make it happen for you. And that's what I love. And I think is so great about, what you do, because you make magic happen for people on their wedding day. And you take that stress away and that anxiety. And it's so important because you're already feeling those butterflies in the morning, with all the getting ready. So have someone else do all the setup for you and take care of all that. So
Yes.
did I just answer the question for you?
I was going to say,
Anything to add?
you've done a fabulous job. I don't know. The only thing I can add really is like so obviously day of coordination, as you said, all those things, 100% true. Like you just want to be the bride. I always tell people that if necessary, I will hand out I've only had to do it twice, but I do have little cards that I've made up that say, don't call the bride. And they have disaster scenarios and my phone number written at the end of every single one of them. Because I know that it's going to be hard either for that bride to relinquish control, or it's going to be hard for everyone not to be like, but I just want to check with the bride, because you want to make sure the bride's happy. And I get it. But like, consider me her right hand. She told me what she wants. We are on the same page. Otherwise, I would not be here. So call me. And that's why so for day of, I love being able to take that for people. And in terms of, and then there's the opposite side of people right from the beginning. Of course, it's exciting. And like, you just got engaged and you just want to start planning. And you have all these ideas and you have 15,000 Pinterest boards, because I get it. And I've been there, but you also don't know where to start. And you have no idea what to do. And you know that the world is weird, but maybe you haven't heard about many weddings, or maybe you're the first of all your friends to get married. And the last time you went to a wedding, you were 4 and the flower girl. But like, I get it. And that's why having a wedding coordinator is like having a cheat sheet to the wedding industry. It's like having someone do all your homework for you, get to know all your vendors, and you also get to skip a step. Well, I shouldn't say completely skip. You get to like cut down on the steps in terms of choosing your wedding vendors, because one, yes, we can shorten that list for you just based on maybe your budget or not, but also your personality. Because at this point, I got a chance to either at least have one full conversation with you. I've got a feel of who you are, how you guys are as a couple, and having worked with so many different vendors, now I can make recommendations based on your personality. Because just because someone is friendly and wonderful, they might be a little too much for, say, a couple that's just like, we just want to get married. I'm not dancing. So I do think that it's purely beneficial. You keep them organized. Maybe you're worried about going outside of your budget. It's like someone who do all the boring paperwork that is along the way, but they're super excited to do it. And someone to meet your enthusiasm and cry with you. And honestly, I should have a PhD in some form of psychology after 2020, because your girl has been a therapist. All right. I've loved every second of it. I feel like I'm closer with my clients, but we've cried together. We've had moments where it's like, we are in this together. This is our wedding. I feel that sometimes I should be in the pictures, but yeah, there's lots of reasons. We're wonderful and we're great to hang out with, I swear.
Actually, yeah, I've had a few encounters with other day of coordinators or / wedding planners. You by far have been my favorite, obviously, but mostly because I think like there's different personalities too in coordinators and planners that you pick, because some of them kind of treat the vendors like there's different relationships, right? So there's some are like
the hierarchy.
Yes, and it's like I'm the coordinator's the boss and I'm her employee now because I've been hired.
I own you.
Yeah, it's kind of like that vibe, right? And I know, and for me, it's important for me to have relationships with my couples and to get to know them before the wedding day. So sometimes I get a little nervous when I get contacted by a wedding planner or to be hired, because I feel like they might be trying to like block me from being, involved with the couple, but right. you let me have those opportunities to work with our clients.
Well, yeah, I feel like it's a fine line and I can see the struggle, or at least how it might seem that way to vendors, because we're basically trying to take something off of our client's plate, right? So where we might be like, okay, I'm going to talk to Krista, I'm going to handle all your photography business. And you're just like, I've never had a conversation with a couple. And so I don't really know how to answer your questions. Like that's like, those are the moments where I'm like, okay, this vendor needs to get to know my clients. They need to be comfortable with each other. Even when, especially when it comes to photography, whenever people are like, oh, recommend photographers for me. I'm like, let's talk for a few minutes like you got to hang out with your photographer all day. Yeah. And you got to make sure that you want that person in your face all day.
Yeah, I think that's it's a really big deal because I think not a lot, some people don't grasp that when they're looking and searching for the photographer. I know that there's two different types of clients. There's ones that super value photography and totally get it. And like, they've been in weddings, like they know, like they want someone that they gel with and that, photographer they're going to feel comfortable with all day. They get it. But then there's other couples who are just like, we just care, this is our price and we just want someone good. And here you go. Like, I don't care who it is. They can show up, whatever. Yeah. Like,
and like, I mean, some people have that personality where they're fine with whatever and they just want the end result. Like, and that's like you're saying, like the difference is you have the people they're focusing on the photos, and then they're the people who have seen your photos, but they also take into consideration that there's also an experience attached here. There is going to be a relationship that you're forming. And if there is one person you're going to remember in terms of wedding vendors from your wedding, it's going to be your photographer, like 100%. So that's why I chose you. No, honestly, it's because I was definitely one of those people, like Eric and I, like I was
your wedding, by the way. Let's just say that too. I was your wedding photographer, which I think is so rad.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and I've worked with tons of talented people. Like I love so many different styles and I've admired so many different wedding photographers, especially in our area. But at the end of the day, I am nervous in front of a camera and I don't necessarily unless you're like, I know I'm wonderful, but I may not walk around here like I'm the most stunning creature of life. And I'm like, Chris is going to make me feel pretty. Like, going to make me feel pretty. I'm going to feel like I'm amazing. And then she's going to remind me repeatedly that it's my wedding day and to stop being a wedding planner. And it's going to be good. So like, and those are literally why it wasn't even like, oh, we're friends and I need to hire my friend. It was like, this person is going to make me feel comfortable on my wedding day. And it's going to be a long day. And I got married in August and it was hot. So you're hot and I'm in a big dress. Yeah. And I'm just like, she's going to be the one for me. Because she's going to take a nap.
Right? And we laugh and we have fun and it's just a good
time. I had a great time.
Me too.
It's great. I mean, Eric's there, but
I love Eric.
I'm just kidding. I love him.
Do I need to edit that out?
Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
Okay, so let's go into our next question. So couples who are searching for a wedding planner / day of coordinator, what are certain questions that they should be asking when they're interviewing potential?
All of them. Literally, I tell couples, ask me every stupid question that has ever crossed your mind. Even if you think I should know this as a grown human who's been through life, and it sounds ridiculous, lay it on me. Because just like how I'm describing the relationship of like between you and your photographer on your wedding day, like you need to make sure that this person is going to, like, I'm the person who's going to go to bat for you when like there's an issue or a problem and I'm trying to stay true to your dream. Yeah. I'm going to be the one who's emotionally supporting you when your maid of honor wants you to, I don't know, move your bridal shower for her birthday, like, or something ridiculous. Like all of it, right? So I always tell people, like, obviously there's the standards, like make sure they're available for your wedding date. That's big. You might love someone, but they also might be booked. The services that they offer, because you may only be looking for someone to help you tie up all the loose ends once you're done planning. You might want someone to hold your hand through the whole thing. So you need to know what the differences are in those packages, what's going to be offered. Is it enough support for you? Is it too much? Is it suffocating? All of those things. Your budget, are they going to be able to, like as a coordinator, am I going to be able to work within your budget based on my own fee, as well as stay true to your budget based on the dream that you have now given me, that you want me to bring to life for you? And like, I could be, and with that, I want to say that if you tell me I want a castle and I want to spend $5,000, like, come on, guys, like I'm good, but I'm not that good. um, so just when you're asking your budget questions, it's just more like, do you fit in my budget? Can we make this work? Is this like, and that should probably be one of your first questions, along with like availability and your services. But aside from that, it's just ask every single silly question that you could think of. How many people do you have working on my wedding day? How much experience do you have? If you are sick, who's going to be the one who takes over for me? Do you have references? Can I speak to other brides aside from the testimonials that are on your website? And like things like that. And so just like ask us a bunch of questions, everything you could possibly think of. You can ask me what my favorite color is, what my least favorite milkshake flavor is, because maybe I'm a strawberry person and you think all people who like strawberry milkshakes are evil. So you don't know. You got to ask, because I'm going to be working with you, especially from the beginning.
Yeah.
We're going to be together all the time. I'm going to be around. We're going to be friends. You're going to love me by the end of it, or you're going to hate me. And the only way you're going to hate me is if I wasn't the person for you out of the gate. And I always want to make sure I'm the right match for people. I would love to do every wedding. I would love to be involved in every couple's happiness. But I also regard that I might not be the personality that makes you the most comfortable. And if that is the case, I will give one tip: be honest about it. I'm not like, my ego will take a hit. Let me tell you. All right. I will feel like I need to be a better person, do 50 sit-ups or something. I don't know. I will feel like, yeah, but at the same time, I talk to other coordinators, and based on your feedback and what I may not have fit for you, whether it be your pricing, well, maybe I'm too loud, I don't know, like any of those things. If you give me that feedback, I can point you in the direction of someone else who can help you. And because we're in the wedding industry, we are each other's support system. Yes, we all have competition. You're only going to hire one photographer. You're only going to hire one wedding coordinator, all of those things. But we also work together. We're friends. We need each other. We support each other. We interview each other so that our clients know who each other are. So we're on your side. We want you. We want your wedding day to be beautiful, whether we get to be involved or not. You just have to be open and honest with us. And whether we cry a little and drink a bottle of wine after we hang up the phone with you is irrelevant. That's
I think it's important too to find someone who's going to be straight with you, because
absolutely.
I think there's some coordinators out there that might promise the world and then they don't deliver, right? I think it's, find someone who's going to be honest with you. Like you said, if you want a castle and you only want to spend $500, well,
Yeah. And it's always hard, right? Especially like, I've definitely had instances where it's like, well, I met with so-and-so and they said they could do this. And I said, well, you need to go talk to so-and-so and tell them to bottle up that magic and sell it to me, because I can't do that for you. And this interview was not for anything. So I totally get it. But like I said, open honesty. We all have competition. There's 800 of all of us. So, but we all know each other. We know how we work. We know how we can help you. And if you're truly good at what you want, at what you do, and you truly love the wedding industry, you're going to be like, okay, listen, if I can't work for you, this person's going to be great for you. It's the same thing if I'm not available. If I'm not available, I'm not going to be like, there are no other wedding planners, you're screwed. I'm going to say, I'm so sorry I'm not available. I wish I could be with you on your big day. And I truly mean that. Like I said, I do all weddings, but so-and-so can help you. This person can help you, because we want weddings to continue. No one's looking to like, I don't know, make your experience a poor one.
Yeah, absolutely. Are there certain places where like people can go? Where do you recommend people go to like find a good wedding planner? Like just Wedding Wire, or is there other places?
Rosewater Weddings. Hello?
Yeah, girl.
What is this? I'm kind.
But we're saying they should interview at least a couple, right? Like I see the same thing. Like, don't just like go with me just because right. But like also interview others to like make sure that I'm the right one for you, right?
So I would say, like, if you have no base knowledge at all, you don't even know where to start, kind of thing. Obviously, Google, but Wedding Wire is very helpful around here. not every, so it's like the Swish list and things like that. But you also have to recognize there's different price points. Not everyone's on there. You're not like, so it's just recognize that you're not seeing everyone that's available to you. For people who, let's say you already knew who your caterer was, you got engaged, you know who your caterer was, or you knew who your photographer was, that one wedding vendor is a fabulous resource, because they're going to have, like, just like the other list, they may not know everybody, but they're at least going to know more people than you do. And they can point you in the direction of someone who either knows better or can give you a list, or maybe they have their own list. It's always great to talk, to ask for a preferred vendors list from people. I feel like most everybody has a list, whether it's written down or in their head. So, but yeah, we all have preferences. That's pretty, I mean, you can always go on, it's not my favorite resource, but there are like also Facebook groups and everything, but I will caution everyone in using a Facebook page, there is a wealth of answers that you are going to get. They are not all of the same caliber. So if you are looking for something specific in any vendor category, and there is something that you are looking for, try and ask people who are in the industry. Google a list and email every single one of them the same generic email. Collect all pricing packages and overwhelm yourself with information, or getting a wedding coordinator and she'll handle it. But all of those, like, and just try and like immerse yourself. If you want to go it alone, try and immerse yourself on your own without too many opinions from other people, because what worked for someone's wedding might not work for yours. And Facebook, unfortunately, is the land of false promises. So
well, let's talk about the investment of a wedding coordinator. So that, like, because I think some people might think like, oh, that's too bougie for me to have a wedding planner or a wedding coordinator. And is it wedding planner or wedding coordinator? Is there a difference?
I'll answer to either. But as my own title, I do say wedding coordinator, because in my opinion, that's what I'm doing. Whether it be the actual planning process, I'm still coordinating that. Whether it be the actual wedding day, coordinating. So, but we also, like, planning is just, I see wedding planning as more like the traditional, like, way to put it. So it's like, you're not offending anybody, but yeah, we plan, coordinate.
So the average couple wanted to hire a wedding coordinator.
Yeah.
Not just the day of coordinator. So when you do wedding coordinating, I'm assuming you're also doing day of coordinating in that sort of package. Because if you're doing everything up until, I can't imagine you just saying, okay, have a nice day.
Oh, sorry, I'm going on vacation. I can't. Sorry.
So let's say they're looking at the full, shebang, the full blown package. What is the average spend of a couple that they should expect to pay if they want to hire a good, quality? We're not talking high end. We're not talking, we're talking, mid-ground coordinator.
So this question feels like a trap.
Well, no, but it's not, right? It's just setting expectations, So I
just want to, I'm going to go based on my own experience and the pricing that I'm aware of. And I would say that the average coordinator that has had some experience and that is really going to be helpful to you, resources, things like that, you're probably not spending less than $1,000. And I realize $1,000 is like, it is a lot of money. Like it is.
It's also the grand scheme of wedding budgets.
And that's exactly. So if we're talking a $30,000 wedding budget, if to spend $1,000, which is probably the tax of something else that you've paid for, it's like to pay $1,000 to have everything go right. Like, you spend 30. Do you really want to roll the dice on $1,000 is probably your jumping off point with wedding coordinators. And I can't really say, like, it really, from there, if there's a lot of work to be done, if there's many events, add-ons, things like that, like I've had other weddings where we've started with day of and now they need a little more help than that. And maybe I could help them do their bridal shower and the bachelor party's a disaster or something. Well, we have those things on. So like everything, the more work, the more expensive, or the bigger the investment. But is it worth it? Absolutely. Even from like an outside perspective, as a wedding coordinator, and I will admit this, and I will say it was a regret. as a wedding coordinator who thought she could handle everything and did not hire a wedding coordinator on her wedding, the regret is immense because it is so hard to let go. It's so hard. Don't do it.
It's so funny that you say that because I just had this conversation yesterday where I was explaining to a couple, like, it's shoemaker shoes, man. Like, I did the same thing. I cheaped out on my wedding photographer and went with a friend, and she totally let me down on the pictures that I did get. And like, I was like hell bent that, I needed to have my aisle moment with him, instead of doing a first look. And we just had like an intimate sort of elopement ourselves.
Right.
Because our priority at the time was buying a house. So anyways, we didn't get any formal pictures done. Like, because after we walked down the aisle and did the whole ceremony, she's like, well, did you want to go outside and do pictures? I was like, well, no, because I just have like our parents and siblings here. Like, we just want to hang out and have lunch with them. So we'll do it another time. And then we just never did it. Like, and like I said, the photos that I had from that day, because it was inside and she didn't prep properly. Like, anyways, I totally regretted it. Right. So like, yeah,
it sticks with you. It's especially like as a photographer, right? You're just like, who was that person? What brain was I using that day? Because it wasn't mine. Like,
I know.
I get it. I hear it preach, right? So
yeah, it was just like I had a makeup artist that I did trade with, because again, trying to save money. And she didn't want to do a trial with me, so she showed up for my morning ceremony, and like I said, I wanted a smoky eye, like something like similar to what I have right now, right? But she caked on, like I looked like a full-blown clown. She did my mom's makeup too. Both of us hated it. The second she left, we took our makeup off and we did it. Like,
oh, good Lord.
You don't want to be doing that on your wedding day. So it is like, I am the cautionary tale of like, put a little bit of extra money and effort into your wedding day, because and hire the professionals because of the things that are most important, right? Photography is most important, like awesome food is most important, and entertainment, I would say, are my top three things. Like, you do not want to cheap out on those three things.
Right. The three things that are most important to you, those are the ones you sink your money into, and everything else is just an add-on.
And I would say even like, and adding, making sure whether it's someone that's included with your venue or it's someone that you hire, you do need a wedding coordinator or a day of coordinator at least. Like,
you need someone in your corner. Like I have the utmost respect for venue coordinators, especially with the sheer amount of weddings that they deal with, even in like a single weekend. But I will always say to couples, like, yeah, like even myself, I kind of fell into that trap for my own wedding. Is it felt like all of the things that were like moving parts and logistics that needed to be mapped out, they were all within my venue. So the coordinator of the venue could handle it. And like, I had everything else. So we were good. You were at my wedding. You were aware that this is untrue. And I'm me. So, and in that moment, like even when we were taking pictures and stuff, just to have someone to say, like, what's our time look like? Like, what's next kind of thing. And as much as you keep track of, like the photographer keeps track of those things, just to have someone have like an overall perspective of what's going on, what needs to be done, what's important, so that like I can just be the lady in the white dress. Like, if I could turn back time, let me tell you, all right, I would spend the extra money. It's just not worth the headache sometimes. But like, then there are other people who are more, I don't want to say to people, you need a wedding coordinator, because there are definitely people out there who can handle it. They probably like, they've got a simpler thing going on, or maybe they're just really hyper organized and they want to have their hand in everything.
Have a good family member. Like, I had a really good family friend who did all my setup for me and like took care of that stuff on the day.
Yeah, like there's always, but I would say like when even how you're talking about setup, like that's one of like the services I offer to people is like, we offer little things. So maybe you don't need a wedding coordinator because you've got everything else. You've got it. You're confident. You're okay if maybe things are off by a few minutes, whatnot. But maybe you wanted your fur baby to walk down the aisle, like, and you don't know what he's doing afterwards. Then that's when you hire someone for like pet services, like, and then I do that. And I love puppies. Okay.
So I was talking to one of my clients who's having her own at her house wedding, and she's like, do you know of a day of coordinator? I know she's going to be watching this, so Joanne,
Hi.
because I know she's excited about, watching your video, and
Right.
she'll be contacting you. But yeah, and I was like, because they have a dog too. Was it Joanne? Maybe I'm thinking of someone else. Anyways, no, it was someone else. And then Joanne, I don't think Joanne has a dog. No, it was another client who I was talking to,
Okay.
Cheryl, and they're going to be doing it at a private property. And she said, I said, hire a day of coordinator so that you're not worrying about it then, if you're going to do
Right.
that instead, right? And she said, it's really important for us to have our dog there. I'm like, well, perfect. I'm like, I got your girl. Like, she's a coordinator and she does dog sitting, so she can take your pup after and just like
Yeah.
go for walks and make sure he gets fed dinner, and like that way you don't have to stress about your dog, even though he's there and he's chilling, he's hanging out. At least someone's there to just mind him, and
Yeah.
you have to be on top of it. Because I know for me, like, I love my fur girls, but like I would be just constantly like worried about them if I was at an event and my dogs were there.
Yeah.
They getting into the food, like are they freaked out? Like, yeah.
No, that's why, like, the little things, I mean, over the years, it went from like just coordination, like full planning and day of, and now I'm in a place where you just need someone to do setup and tear down. Maybe you just need someone to like into like the pet services, things like that. Like, or maybe you're just someone who has no idea where to start. You just want to ask a bunch of questions, but you don't want to commit to anything. Well, let's sit down for an hour and a half, have a consultation. I'm going to share some information with you. Pardon?
That's generous of you.
No one said it was free. All right. Okay. I did you hear the words free consultation?
Okay.
I have an hourly rate for people where if you want to sit down, you want to ask your questions, and you just want information because you don't know if you want to hire a coordinator. Like, that's how we're going to start out. And then if you want later on where you're just like, now that I have all this information, I see how much stuff there is to do, I don't want to do any of it. Well, I'm going to take all the money we put into your consultation, and now I'm going to be your coordinator and be your best friend. So, but yeah, there's everyone's different. Everyone does not need the same thing. I would never push like a full planning package on someone if I felt like all they really needed was a pair of extra hands on the day or something like that. So that's why conversations are so important, right? So if I can assess what you're looking for, there's what you think you need and what I know you need. So
that just comes based on experience, right? Like 99% of our couples have never done this before,
No.
and so you can't expect as a bride or a groom. Or hey, are you there?
Yeah, I left you. Hang on. There we go. Hi.
Say you're Brittany Carovillano. Yeah, so it's just like we can't like nobody expects you to know everything as like a future bride or groom.
No.
So
that'd be crazy,
right? So why not contact a professional like Brittany, just to even just pick their brain for an hour. Like she said, like you can pay for her just to talk to her for an hour and like have all your questions prepared of all the things that you don't know. If you're wondering like how much should I be spending on a photographer? How much, should I is reasonable to spend on food? What type of venue should I look at? Like you can pick Brittany's brain on all those things and, get value just from that. So, but like she said too, at the end of the day, you're probably going to turn around and just want to hire her anyways. Because once you realize how much work it is to put on a wedding.
They say that the average wedding is about 200 hours of planning. And
wow.
Right. And I actually, so mind you, COVID kind of like messed up my experiment. I wanted to see if that was true. So I took a couple.
I'm making 5 cents an hour. That's how it is for me too, right? I'm like, I'm scared. They keep saying like in all these forums I'm in, they're like, track your time, and like you're gonna realize you're making less than minimum wage when you put out like your booking rate towards how much time you actually invest.
It's true. It's so true. I think it was like, I'm gonna say we were probably in like June of last year. I'd started working with this couple like a little the winter prior, and I think I already hit like 120 hours. And I was just like, I'm gonna stop counting now because I'm gonna cry.
Because now you're paying for the wedding.
Right? Oh my gosh. But you know what? It never, I have to say though, it never feels that way. And at the risk of sounding like a total cheese ball, like you're not in the wedding industry if you don't love the wedding industry. And if you don't love it, you're probably cranky because it's a lot of work. Like no matter what your job is, no matter how you contribute, it's a lot of work. Like
It's a special kind of person that can like be in the wedding industry and love it like we do. Like
right.
I get joy from it. Like and I'm kind of sadistic in that way.
I was gonna say, does it make you feel like a psycho? I'm just like, yeah, but it's true. It's true.
Yeah,
You have to. It's a special personality. That's why you have to love all of the people around you, and like you have to create those relationships with other vendors. It's because like we're all in our own little like crazy club together.
absolutely. And like I can tell, like you can tell the vendors that don't love it, right? And they just do it because it's good money, right?
This wedding $1 billion industry, you can't fault someone for
Because of how much, yeah,
part.
but it's because of all the work that you have to put into it, and you know, there's only so many available dates in prime wedding season, and yada yada. But like in some of the forums that I'm in with other photographers and stuff, like you can tell those who like hate their lives for being in the wedding industry, and then those like me who don't. Like I've never had, and I'm gonna knock on all the wood, but like I've never had an unhappy couple. Like I've never had dissatisfied clients. Like we've always just had like really great time, really great relationships, because I think because I love what I do, and my positive Patty personality just like infects them with like rainbows and butterflies.
All I want to do right now is like purchase you a necklace that says Patty.
I did post some an opportunity on Instagram for people to send me questions to ask you, and one of the questions that came in was, what are your pet peeves? I was like, that's a loaded question for Brittany.
This is a trap. What is my pet peeve? Okay. Short answer, wedding planners don't get to have them. Like quite literally. I could hate something and it just doesn't apply when I'm working. It just like, and it sounds ridiculous, it sounds like a lie, whatever. But we're not allowed to have pet peeves because our entire job is based on dealing with disaster and dealing with things going wrong, fixing things, and like, or I don't know, people being annoying and us handling it. That's literally like, we don't get to be annoyed. We don't get to have those things. But in effort to not be a politician and answer the question,
this is your law, right?
I will say, my biggest challenge is, I would say, is like a bride or a couple, bridegroom, it doesn't matter, like myself, like someone who is used to having control, who has like faith that they have a plan. In any other world, they'd of course be able to execute this themselves. So my biggest challenge is convincing those types of people that like, I can help you, I'm on your side, we're on the same team. All the strong emotions that you convey, I will convey them for you, like all of those things. So less of a pet peeve, because like I'm never like, oh, another one. Like I'm not really. It's more so like those girls, those boys, girls, whatever, they are my favorite because they come loaded with information. They know exactly what they want. There's no gray area. They know exactly what they need. But now it's like, all right, now strong personality means strong personality, and let's work together and make this like beautiful.
Yeah.
So biggest challenge, 100%, like a type A personality. Do I shy away from it? Does it bother me? Is it awful in some way? Absolutely not. Everybody's different. And if there's one thing that I love about the wedding industry is like, as much as we might see wedding after wedding after wedding, the people, the choices, the color palettes, like everything it's different. It's a different experience every single time. It's like going to work and you got a new job, but you already knew how to do it. Yeah. And it's awesome.
That's like for me, right? Like it's like a challenge accepted, right? Like
yeah, exactly.
I see any kind of like blowback or wall as like an opportunity. Like, and it's so cheesy, right? Like, but I love, like you, I have that like inner desire to solve every problem. And so I think that comes from our personalities of problem solving. But like, I love when I show up to an engagement session or a couple session and the guy that's there because this happens a lot, where the guy is just like, this is the worst thing anyone could ask me to do. I do not want to be here. I hate having my picture taken. This is so weird. Why are we doing this? And then within like 20 minutes, they're like high-fiving me, like laughing, having the best time. And they're like, I can't get over how much fun this is. And I'm like, I know, right? I promised you and I told you we were going to have a good time, you know?
Woman of your word.
Yeah, I love those moments, right? I love them.
You sound like bad like job interview answers though. Like, you know, it's like, what's your biggest weakness? And you're like, that I'm too kind. Like,
yeah.
It's true, but it's true. It's true.
Pleaser.
Like I said, be a special kind of human to love being in this industry. And so every weird, like if I'm choosing to be a wedding coordinator, I'm choosing to never complain
Oh man,
to other.
you guys get beat on so bad. Like anything that goes wrong, it's your fault.
That's right. Prettiest punching bag in the league. All right.
Yeah. Like I've seen you take some punches.
But it's like you said, everything's a challenge. So imagine like you're constantly being like underestimated. And I mean, I've definitely had couples where like we've worked together, everything's been great, but you can feel the apprehension still almost. And it's like, and it's not because of anything that's happened, more so just who they are as people. And maybe they had trouble, like, again, relinquishing control. So to see those people on their wedding day, be like, holy crap, we just got to get married and we didn't think about anything, like nothing. Or would they ask me questions? My favorite is at the end of the night when they're just like, what about this? What about this? What about this? I'm like, handle it. Like that's my feet hurt and I don't want to smell like another stuffed chicken for the rest of my life, but I handled it and it was awesome.
Well, and like, let's talk about that too, the end of the night, right? I think that's one thing couples don't think a lot about or anticipate is like, after you're done partying with all your friends and your guests and your family, and you've been on your feet all day in your heels, like the last thing you want to do is be like putting away crap, right? Like all your centerpieces and cleaning up the room, because all the venues expect you to like do it that night, basically.
Right.
Very few venues will let you come back the next day because oftentimes they have stuff planned. So
right.
They want you cleaned up and out by like X time, right? So how nice is it when you're a bride and groom and you can party, and then just leave and go have a post party at a hotel room with their friends and let your coordinator or your day coordinator clean it up for you.
Amazing.
Right?
I make my assistants do those things, but it is amazing.
But someone's got it covered, right? And
yeah, someone with a Rosewater badge on is cleaning up your stuff, and that's all you need to worry about.
So how many people do you often work with? Like, what is your team size?
The average for a wedding is I usually only need one other person. Usually if there's like a lot of setup and tear down involved, or say like the couple added that package, I'll always like bring, well, I'll have three with me in the morning, and then in the evening there will be two more, kind of thing, to like finish off. But we're pretty efficient at this point. And I mean, no one folds a chair like my guys. So
well, even like there was a wedding that we did together, and I know you had, I think your husband was roped in, and probably someone else that you're there's somebody related to, and they were doing parking duty because it was a private property, so they had the vests on. And
yeah, that was the only wedding that I've had to date where I had three people with me the entire time. And like, as you know, like the property was huge. So private, huge property, like let's call it in non-traditional layout. And but yeah, one guy like literally a drive to manage parking. That was the year I started using walkie-talkies because we were so far away. And now they are a part of my kit. So
yeah, you actually inspired me to get walkie-talkies from that day too. So now my assistant, my second shooters, everybody's always got walkie-talkies on them. So one thing I love about you, and I do the same thing, we have emergency prepared kits because we're professionals and we've been doing this a long time and we know what's going to go wrong. So one of the questions that came through, which I love that she asked this, is what's in your emergency kit? And did you add anything extra for COVID?
Magic and solutions. want me to give away all my secrets? No, I'm just kidding.
No.
So my kid is huge, just to like, I won't tell you everything because like I could literally spend 10 minutes going through it. I have 3 of them.
Let's explain to people like what the emergency kit is. Like,
okay.
I mean,
So my emergency kit is basically anything that you could possibly need at your wedding, down to like a second shade of or a second lipstick of the shade that you're wearing, to, I don't know, you need fishing wire because we have to figure out why something fell and fix it. So we keep it, yes, everything like lighters and like for candles, things like that. I have extra candles. But with every wedding, for myself, as I always like, if I see something cool or if I was missing something, like if I saw something in your kit, for example, that I don't have in mine, right? It builds and it grows, and that's how I currently have 3. And you saw the one, my little fanny pack that I carry around when I was helping you photo assisting, and my assistant generally has my bigger one. It like. I'm trying to like generalize because it's huge.
Okay, so like some things I know that we have, which you probably have too, would be like needle and thread, right?
Right. Like I have, yes.
Oh,
okay,
the chalk. The one thing that can we say is that a secret?
Are you? I'm leaving. Okay. No, it's fine. But I will. So we'll let that one out of the bag. So like I have little things. Not that I'm trying to like make other people's wedding kits like lesser or anything like that. It's just personal experience, little tricks. So a wedding that I did, or that I was assisting you with, that one of our bride had some grass stains after some pictures because they did a first look, and she had a white dress on. And one of the things that I keep in my kit is chalk in 3 different shades. So one that would help a white dress, one that would be off-white, and one that would accommodate ivory, actually 4 shades, and champagne. And this bride had a white off-white dress kind of thing. And we were able to cover the stains really quickly because if you just rub a little chalk on there, and it's like a quick fix. Do not use a Tide stick. Do not use stain remover. This is the one tip I will give for free. They are wonderful to have if a wedding guest has something and they maybe father of the bride or something got a little something on his shirt and we just need to get that off. Tide stick is fine. Wedding dresses, we do not smear things. We do not make it wet. Chalk. Let the professional cleaners clean it afterwards. Do not make it worse. But there are little things like that. And I also have stuff like that I keep in my car, like a golf umbrella to like cover, like if it rains, bottles of water, weird things that I have, or things that I've accumulated. I would say one of the weirdest, but I also think it's the funnest, is I have a selection of smoke bombs in my
right.
in a variety of colors, because I had them at my own wedding. They were cool. And I always think like, wouldn't it be awesome to be able to add this element randomly kind of thing. So I am equipped with both practical items like screwdrivers and double-sided tape and things that would be considered kind of weird, like fuzzy peaches and smoke bombs. It's a wide range. Okay. There's roughly 150 items in the big kit that I carry, and there's 50 in the one in my car.
Yeah. So yeah. I would say like adding things extra for COVID. I mean, I have the hand wipes and the sanitizer, but I always had those anyways in my kit. I have a box of like 100 masks, like blue disposables, but that's really more for our team because generally weddings are already well supplied with masks during
right.
I actually so we have our kits. I have 3 kits as well. I have like a mini kit, a medium-sized kit, and then a giant kit. And I find like I used to make my assistants, like we have, you didn't have to experience this, but when I first started bringing assistants, I have a backpack that she would have to wear the backpack and carry my bag. And I felt bad.
Is this why you needed an assistant? Because they don't want to work for you anymore? You're making them carry stuff?
She was 15. Oh, poor little thing. That was my first assistant, Lauren. Shout out to Lauren.
Oh yeah, I remember her from the style shoot that we did.
Yeah. So, but anyways, the big kit. So I found like we weren't really pulling it out a lot. There was more like those certain little things. So like you said, like having just like even the small one and then having the big kit in the car for the just in cases.
Yeah.
But, Yeah, it's really good. So like if you're hiring a day of coordinator like Brittany, chances are they're going to have that kit as well so that you don't have to worry about it. But I know some brides do put together their own little, oh shit kits is what we call them.
Yes.
That's what I call it. What do you call yours?
I don't know, my Lord and Savior.
My magic bag.
Right? This is where the magic happens,
Mary
right?
Poppins bag right here.
Legit. Like, and I open it because it's just like a square, right? And when I open it, it expands and then it keeps expanding. So my favorite is when I'm doing like setup or something and someone asks for it and I'm like, hang on 1 second.
Yeah. Yeah. You're like me. Like I love being the savior. I'm like, I got you. We got this. 1 second.
Right. Let me handle.
Yeah, let me handle it. I love it. You got a problem? What do you got? I got it. I need it. You need it? I got it.
It's true. For Christmas, like I was spoiled for Christmas. I had a great Christmas with my family and everything, but I was spoiled with things that, like, the things I got most excited for were the things for my business. Like, husband buys me this, like, it velcros to the back of my seat and has several pouches. So it like takes up less room than my current car kit. Amazing. And like I don't have weddings to do for a while. It is still in my car. I filled that bad boy like the next day and I was like singing and dancing. And I'm like, oh, I'm gonna put my antacids here. I'm gonna put my baby wipes here. I'm like,
yep.
Yeah.
Oh, heel stoppers. We should talk about heel stoppers.
Oh, that one is like,
I have to actually order more because that's one of the most given out things from my OSHA kit.
It's true. It's so true. I order them in bulk at this point. Those ones, and I have so heel protectors you can buy from like tons of different people. There's so many. They all work. That's like the short version.
So some people might not know what that is. So for ladies, when you're wearing the high heels and we go out to take pictures, or if you're getting married in a backyard and it's grassy, you're gonna sink no matter what time of year. Even if it's hot, cold, wet, whatever, dry, you're gonna sink. So these heel stoppers just are little plastic things with, I don't know, like a base, and
you're gonna die. Ready? You ready for this?
Got it. She's gonna show us.
I have one.
Yeah. Awesome.
This is a heel stopper.
Yes. And they are amazing. And
they are. As a lover of heels and a lover of vineyards and outdoor venues, these bad boys. Usually when you buy them, they'll come in like 3 different sizes. This one is meant for like a wider heel. You stick that in there and like it makes the bottom flat, like bigger, so that, like Krista was saying, you don't sink into the ground and you don't get those like stupid muddy stains, especially if you're wearing satin heels. It breaks my heart. But if not, I have a solution for that in my kit. No, I will not tell you on this interview.
So what else? Do we have anything else to cover? Oh, where'd you go?
I don't know. Listen, I'm wedding planner. I'm on tech support. What's happening here? No, not much. This has been fun. I miss weddings. I would like to say to any couple planning a wedding, whether you decide to go with a wedding planner, whether you're doing it by yourself, at the end of the day, remember that you're getting married. And that is the most important thing. It doesn't, like, you might have been excited about all the bells and whistles and frills and all of those things in the actual celebration. But the truth is we can celebrate your love anytime. We can do that next year. We can do it in 5 years. You can have an anniversary every 6 months, whatever you want. I'll plan those too. But remember, like, you're getting married, and like and that's what's the most important thing, COVID or not. And there are obviously other ways to involve your family and your friends, and we will help you discover those things. And so just remember, it's about you and your wedding vendors. We're here to help. That's all we want. We miss weddings just as much as you do. We can't wait till things go back to normal. I don't even care what the new normal looks like. We're all going to be here. It's going to be wonderful. And we're going to be eternally optimistic. Positive Patty over and out.
Oh my God. By the end of this, we're going to be the Patty sisters.
Right. I swear every person who like knows me is going to like watch this and be like, who is she? Who's this person?
Girl.
No, I'm just kidding. Actually, all of my girlfriends right now, like seriously, out of all the bridesmaids that you met on my wedding day, three of them are getting married this year. They are brides that were affected by this.
So many of your friends are getting
married. It's crazy. It's crazy. So like I am friend, wedding coordinator, and bridesmaid this year. So
All the hats.
yes, all the hats.
Yes. I'm just hoping that I'm secretly hoping that like you get to do some more weddings with me because we had so much fun last year.
Listen, my May and June are like, so you give me a call.
All right, I got you.
Okay. Like I got a couple here and there, but you call me.
Awesome. Amazing. Well, thank you so much. I will post all of the ways that people can connect with you in the description.
Okay.
Hello. So everyone, please don't forget to like and subscribe this channel. It's so important because I want to keep making amazing content for you and, trying to really help and show you how amazing your wedding can be, even during a pandemic and beyond. So thank you so much for watching. Brittany, thank you again for joining me today. This is amazing. You're amazing. Love, 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 love.
Thank you for having me.
And yeah, this is my new tagline. Are you ready?
Okay.
Have a lovely day.
Look at you.
I'm the most cheese. If you love cheese, hire me.
Okay, that needs to be your tagline. Because people are going to be like, listen, she's either cheesy and happy or she loves cheese. I don't see the difference.
It's kind of both.
Right.
Yeah. All right.
Bye.